Howard Gardner proposed a view of natural human talents that is labeled the Multiple Intelligences Model, or MI. This model is an approach that characterizes human intelligence as having multiple dimensions. As a result, individuals are free to be intelligent in their own ways. Gardner argues that all humans have these intelligences, but people differ in the strengths and combination of intelligences. He believes that all of them can be enhanced through training and practice. MI focuses on differences between learners and the need to recognize learner differences in teaching. Gardner claims that his view of intelligence is culture-free and avoids the conceptual narrowness usually associated with traditional models of intelligence. Gardner posits 8 native intelligences: linguistic, logical, mathematical, spatial, musical, bodily, kinesthetic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalist. MI proposals look at the language of an individual as central to the whole life of the language learner and user. In this sense, language is held to be integrated with music, bodily activity, interpersonal relationships, and so on. Language learning and use are obviously closely linked to what MI theorists label linguistic intelligence. In addition, intelligence comprises a single factor, usually called the G factor, so intelligence can be described as the ability to deal with cognitive complexity. In the Gardner view, there exists a cluster of mental ability that are separate but equal and that share the pinnacle at the top of the hierarchy called intelligence.
There are no goals stated for multiple intelligences instruction in linguistic terms. MI pedagogy focuses on the language class as the setting for a series of educational support systems aimed at making the language learner a better designer of his/her own learning experiences. Such a learner is both better empowered and more fulfilled than a learner in traditional classrooms. A more goal-directed learner and happier person is held to be a likely candidate for being a better second language learner and user. There is no syllabus as such in respect to MI-based language teaching. There is a developmental sequence that has been proposed as what we have considered as type of syllabus designed. Consists of 4 stages: awakened intelligence, amplified intelligence, teach with for the intelligence, and transfer of the intelligence. Nicholson-Nelson describes how MI can be used to individualize learning through project work. She lists 5 types of projects: multiple intelligent projects, curriculum-based project, thematic-based project, resource-based project, students' choice projects.
Like teachers, learners need to see themselves engaged in the process of personality development above and beyond that of being successful language learners. They are typically expected to take an MI inventory and to develop their own MI profiles based on the inventory. The more awareness students have of their own intelligences and how they work, the more they will know how to use that intelligence to access the necessary information and knowledge from a lesson. All of this is to enable learners to benefit from instructional approaches by reflecting on their own learning.
Teachers then become curriculum developers, lesson designers, and analysts, activity finders or inventors, and most critically orchestrators of a rich array of multisensory activities within the realistic constraints of time, space, and resources of the classroom. Teachers are encouraged not to think of themselves merely as language teachers. They have a role that is not only to improve the second language abilities of their students, but to become major contributors to the overall development of students' intelligences. The following list summarizes several of the alternative views as to how the multiple intelligences model can be used to serve the needs of language learners within the classroom setting. Play to strength, variety is the spice, pick a tool to suit the job. All size fit one, me and my people. Each of these views has a strength and weakness, some of theoretical, some of pedagogical, and some of practical nature. It seems that potential MI teachers need to consider each of these possible applications of MI theory in light of their individual teaching situations. You can learn which type of intelligence a child has by testing then design classroom activities for multiple intelligences that play to each child's strength. Using MI can help assure that each child is participating in activities that will help him learn, like writing stories, puzzles, perform dance routines, etc.
There are many activities and materials that support multiple intelligence perspective, so we refer to materials to all resources useful for working with intelligence in class. Each intelligence determines the resources that we can use, but it doesn't mean that they are specific to each intelligence. For example, when a student is taught to play a guitar, a piano, a violin, or wherever, he not only learns to play this instrument, but also allows him to develop skills to sing, create music, analyze sounds, improvising, or the ability to express your feelings and emotions in other skills.
Errors are corrected both in a group and individually, because the teacher allows the students to integrate and share their experiences, but also at the same time individual, because oneself is also reflecting on the learning that is going through. Multiple intelligences is an increasingly popular approach to characterizing the ways in which learners are unique and to developing instruction to respond to this uniqueness. MI is one of a set of such perspectives dealing with learners' differences and borrows heavily from this in its recommendations and designs for lesson planning.